Unreal, an engine that everyone is talking about, that is growing popularity with the release of Unreal Engine 5 and new features such as Lumen and Nanite, and of course has caught my attention too. So I decided to start the journey of learning a new engine and share what I'm discovering through the process. And that is how I started.
Nice bugs. Don't mind me.
The first thing that I did was create a new project using the third-person template provided by Epic. This template comes with the engine when you install the editor. Here I just choose the template, leave it as default settings and give it a name, then hit create. I have a little bit of experience with the Unit engine, and because of that I kinda know what I'm looking here. So I just started messing around to become more comfortable within the engine, to do things like how to move the camera, how to manipulate objects in a scene, and change its settings. But before that, I did go through some documentation, some YouTube videos, just to get the basics of the engine. Okay, with the basics out of the way, I wanted to learn how to create a character controller. And that's what this video is about, creating a simple third-person character controller with animations. For that, I created another blank project. Same as before, just choose the template, the settings, the name, and hit create. Here I'm just creating a simple level to test the character, adding a direction of light, a sky atmosphere, height fog, that kind of effects to make the scene a little bit better. Then I'm adding a cube to act like a floor for the character to walk in, and a simple material with a tileable texture to kind of know how fast I'm moving. I think it's better to have this kind of texture. It helps a lot. Now I can create the character blueprint. So for that I'm just using a cube as a character because for now I don't have an actual model for the character. So a cube will do for now. I'm adding a spring arm too and a camera so we can control it later with the mouse. But before actually creating the character I need some inputs. So for that I'm using input action and input mapping. This is part of the enhanced input system that Unreal have. I don't know when this starts, but I think it's a great way to add input for different controllers like a keyboard, a mouse, or a joystick. And I'm just adding the mapping to the blueprint on the start with the start event. Okay, so beginning with the jump event, I'm just calling the jump function that comes with the character class and calling that when the event fires. Then for the mouse, it's the same thing. I'm just calling the input from the input mapping and adding the input values from the vector2 to the spring arm. Then for the movement, it's the same thing, getting the input from the keys, grabbing the values from the vector2 and adding to the movement of the character, and we have a character moving. It's really simple to make a move character in Unreal with the character class. You already have a lot of things done. You just tweak things to make it behavior like you want. Now that I have the basic controller, I went to Mixamo to get a character and some animations to the project. So for that, the animations that I'll be using would be an idle animation, a walking animation, a run animation, an idle animation but crouching, a walking animation but crouching, and a jump animation. Now we can start creating the base locomotion system. This will be really simple, just the standing, idle, walk and run animations in a blank space to make the transition from one animation to another smooth. So for that I replaced the cube with the character mesh and I imported all the animations. After that I created the blank space and an animation blueprint to control the changes in animation. An animation blueprint is where you can put all the animations and decide how to transition between them. It also has an event graph so you can add some logic. For example, here I'm grabbing the character velocity. There you go, we have animations working, at least the basics of it. So now I'm just correcting the velocities. For the sprint, I decided to make something more smooth. That's why I'm using a timeline here. I'll be using actually two timelines, one for start sprinting and another to control the stop sprinting. I don't think that this is necessary because we already have a smooth option on the blank space, but I decided to make anyways. Okay, so moving on to the jump, I went to Mixamo one more time to get the animations, one for jump and one for falling, and imported to the project to start adding those to the system. It's the same thing as before, just adding the animations on the animation blueprint and creating the logic to grab those values. So we can move on to the next set of animations. The next animations that I'll be doing is the crouching animations. It's really similar to the basic locomotion but crouching. So I started by creating the blank space to put the animations and some logic on the animation blueprint to transition between them. And that's basically it. I didn't make anything new that I can show you guys, so I think we can move on to the next part. The last thing that I want to add is the footstep sounds. And for that I downloaded a single sound because I'll be using meta sounds for that. So every time the sound plays, it will be with a different pitch, creating the illusion of more sounds, but in reality it's just one single sound. I'll use animations notify to play the sound. So basically animation notify is a way of adding an event on the animation timeline to fire every time that the animation reaches that point. So every time that the foot touches the ground on the animation, an animation notify will be called and will play the sounds. That's it. Let's see how it looks. This video was not meant to be a tutorial. That's why I only showed you a little bit what I've done. But if you guys want, I can try to make a tutorial on that or other things that I'll be doing in the future. I'm still learning, but I'll be happy to share. Thank you for watching and have a great day.